it's an initiative taken up by the XNDs and few of the veterans. And I am myself Major Aditya Deshmukh. I have served in Indian Armed Forces for 10 years, and I was an infantry. And I have been one of the youngest officers to have served on all the fronts from my regiment. I belong to my regiment. So yeah, that's a short introduction of myself, and let us go to the topic now. Okay, so today's topic is thematic apperception test. So this is one of the very first tests which you'll be undergoing in the SSB post your screening. It's the part of the psychological test, and it is supposed to be one of the three pillars, that is psychological test, GTO, and the interview which you'll be going which will be facing in the SSB Services Selection Board. So this is one of the major aspects, that is thematic apperception test. So what do you understand by thematic apperception test is something which I'm going to explain now. Thematic apperception test. If we go word wise, thematic is basically the theme. What is your perception about it and how you perceive that particular picture? And you have to write the story based on that theme. So first and foremost thing which is necessary over here to understand is it's a thematic apperception. That means it is not the exact story. It is not something which is popping up in your mind immediately. It is something based on the picture which you'll be seeing. So as part of the Josh Scott, eventually this video is also going to be available on YouTube as well. So I would like to tell you that is as the Josh Scott has launched this initiative. So as I was saying, all of you have said something which is very, very true about this thematic apperception test. And I will explain it to you how to go about it. Firstly, I'll explain what is it exactly, which will clarify most of your doubts. See, first and foremost thing which you need to understand is why this test is conducted. This test is conducted in order to understand your psychological characteristic, your basic characteristic, your basic instincts, and the reason and the way it is tested in the very first story, whatever picture is shown, you might have, there is not much of a time. If you see, if you observe, there is only 30 seconds which are given to observe that picture, and 4 minutes are given to write it. So the very first story which you'll be writing, you may be in a very very fresh mode, and you'll start writing it like the previous day. Somebody must have got screened in, so previous day PPDT होती है, picture perception and description test. उसके बाद में screen in होने के बाद आपको बिठा दिया जाता है hall में. उसके बाद में you'll be undergoing these 12 series 12 tests. After that TAT, then VAT is there, what is association test, then SRT is there. It's a very very strenuous and it's a very exhaustive method actually, wherein एक दो बार तो आप in a fresh way और in a आराम से एकदम लेट के relax होके आप लिख सकते हो, but you cannot do it consistently for 12 stories. After that, immediately you are taken to the VAT. After that, immediately you are faced with SRTs, situation reaction tests. So this procedure itself is so exhausting and it is so strenuous that enhances the kind of pressure which you will undergo. It will bring out the very basic characteristics of yours. So it's a normal human tendency that under pressure your basic instincts work, your basic tendencies work. That is where your actual testimony of your character will come out, and that is the reason why such kind of tests are conducted in this the very first psychological in a series of psychological tests which you'll be undergoing on the very first day. So this will एक तो और आपकी कंसिस्टेंसी उस चीज में दिखाई देती है कि थीमेटिक एपरसेप्शन टेस्ट में वी विल नॉट टॉक अबाउट वैट और एसआरटी राइट नाउ. We'll only focus on that. What will happen is in the very first story, second story, third story, fourth story, there would be pictures which might be similar in nature at times, but what is happening inside you is वो शायद आप उसमें कुछ अलग तरीके से उसको देख रहे हो, उसी चीज को कुछ अलग तरीके से देख रहे हो. So all then everything and anything which is there inside you will be coming out on that piece of paper, and you will be describing whatever thing is there. आपकी जो basic instincts है, आपकी जो basic characteristics है, वो पूरे आप put forth कर रहे हो. You are actually, putting your heart out. You're from inside. आप बाहर आ रहे हो और आपका सब कुछ आप दे रहे हो उसमें. Some people would get confused, some people would get, some people won't be able to understand what is exactly happening. They will be just keep on, they'll be just writing, and they must be feeling that yeah, मैं तो सब कुछ लिख रहा हूँ. But that is not the case. The content matters, your handwriting matters, your speed matters, your critical thinking matters, your spontaneity matters, your imagination matters, and what actually the kind of personality which you have will actually come out in a very very different way. You might be pretending to yourself that मैं तो perfect हूँ, मैं तो ऐसा हूँ, मैं तो वैसा हूँ. But in this series of 11 stories, your actual characteristics will be out in open, and then they will be put forth, and the assessors will see you whether it is a fit for them or whether it is a fit not fit for them. So once you pass these series of tests, then only you will be considered for no further selection process. So let's not move that ahead. Let's just limit ourselves to TAT right now. So what happens in TAT? Let's let's see what are all the things which are tested in TAT now. Anyone amongst you who can rate this?
Yes, sir, I can read.
Sir, may I?
Please with your please say tell your names.
Sir,
Shivansh.
Shivansh and second one
Sir Pankaj Kumar.
Pankaj. Pankaj, please read.
Yes, sir. First of all, introduction to TET. The thematic
Mhm.
apperception test is the first test of the series of psychological tests followed by VET, SRT, and self-description. Seeks
Mhm.
to assess candidates' creative spirit, personality, and psychological qualities. The TAT is made up of several fictitious scenarios depicted through 11 pictures and one blank side. TAT evaluates qualities such as decision making, problem solving, and leadership potential. To assess the picture, you are provided with a handful of 30 seconds, and a span of 4 minutes is provided to pen down your story for each picture. A broad range of contexts, including social, ethical, professional, and personal ones, are covered by the picture shown to you in TAT.
So the very first thing, the picture, the thematic apperception test is the first test, followed by VAT, SRT, and self-description. In self-description, anyone amongst you can tell me which is that form you fill in for self-description?
So the PIQ form?
And yes, PIQ. So personal information questionnaire has got a lot to do with whatever you're doing for the span of 5 days in SSBs. And especially as far as your TAT is concerned, in your PIQ forms, somebody would write they are NCC cadets, somebody would write they have done some social work, somebody must be writing they are doing a teamwork, they are part of some team, sports team, they have played sports, they have done falana cheese, they have done this thing, that thing. All of it has to do something with whatever you are doing, writing and saying, or speaking over there. That personal information questionnaire is the main thing, what you are made up of, and that exactly will be, and whether that PIQ form में तो यार every it's a very generic in nature kind of thing, and specific थोड़ा बहुत होता है कि what are your achievements and everything, and how much you have, what things you have faced, if you are part of some team, if you have been part of some adventure team or something of that sort, it will be shown through your PIQ form. Now same thing will be seen in your TAT, same thing will you will be tested, because your PIQ form will be kept as reference, and whatever stories you are writing, whatever words you are writing, whatever situations reaction tests you are giving, or your in your interview, whatever you are saying in your GTO, whatever you would be doing, everything will be tested on the similar grounds of your PIQ. So that PIQ becomes the basic theme of, that should be ideally be the basic theme of all the stories which you'll be writing in first place. Are you getting my point? Am I audible? Yeah. So that is first and foremost thing. This seeks to assess candidates' creative spirit, personality, and psychological qualities. As I said, whatever you have written in the PIQ form is going to be, it's, I wouldn't say it would affect it, but something which would be seen and observed in your tests, in your written thematic apperception tests. So the TAT is made up of several fictitious scenarios. Whatever you would be writing around it is going to be exactly how you are. So now the real test starts. Whether you have, do you really have that thing in you wherein you are a team person, you are the main character of your surroundings, whether you are somebody who is taking the initiative, whether you are someone who is thinking from a perspective जहाँ पे आप आप एक सॉल्यूशन का पार्ट बन रहे हो और कोई प्रॉब्लम का तो पार्ट नहीं बन रहे हो। आप एक नो घुलने मिलने वाले इंसान हो और एक आप एक अच्छे अच्छे इंसान हो जो आपके सराउंडिंग्स में अच्छी तरह से घुल मिल जाता है, हेल्पफुल है, और आप हर एक चीज इस तरीके से करते हो कि विच विल बी looked up by the people around you. You are somebody who is, spoken of as kind of, I wouldn't say hero, but I would say somebody who helps everyone, or somebody who is considerate, who is sensitive enough to understand the situation, who is a quick, responder for anything which is happening. He has got a good presence of mind. These all things are very, very important in order to write a particular story. So moving ahead, since you people have read this and I have also tried to explain you since whatever time we have started off, most of these things I believe are very clear to you. TAT evaluates qualities such as decision making, problem solving, leadership potential. That's what I said just now. To assess the picture, you are provided with a handful of 30 seconds, which we already discussed, and a broad range of contexts, including social, ethical, professional, and personal ones, are covered by the pictures shown to you in TAT. So whatever thing you have written in the PIQ form, exactly that is, if it aligns, if all the works and deeds which you have done, if it aligns with the stories which you have written, definitely it creates a kind of impression that yes, whatever you have written in the PIQ form, you are living that thing. I'm only speaking about the TAT aspect, not speaking about the interview and the GTO task as such. But as far as TAT is concerned, that thing is aligning. So once that thing is aligned, the person, the assessor, would be getting an impression कि yes, भाई ये बंदे को या बंदी को ये चीज पता है, and this person has actually worked hard, because in such a short span of time you will be coming up with the responses consistently for 12 stories. It's very difficult to be consistent if you have boasted of yourself in the PIQ form, or if you have just put those things over there because somebody has asked you to put those things. It's very difficult to be consistent. It's rather humanly impossible to maintain that consistency through all those 12 stories as such. So you must understand that from that perspective. So सबसे पहले इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपकी दिनचर्या और आपका रूटीन उस लिहाज से होना भी चाहिए ताकि आप वो जो लिख रहे हो आपकी पीओक्यू फॉर्म में वही इसमें अलाइनमेंट होगी उस चीज की. I hope I am very clear. I'm not digressing from the issue. Rather, I'm not digressing from the issue. I'm trying to tell you. I just want to know whether you people are understanding it or not. If okay, we'll move ahead now. So yes, oil cues assist in SRT would be decision making, leadership potential, perception, and interpretation. This thing, as far as SRT is concerned, I'll come back to it later. I apologize for the mix up of the presentation. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा that is because of the obsoleteness of the software which is there on my laptop. I'm really sorry for that. I really beg your pardon for it. But let's move ahead. So do not will start practice. There is no substitute to memorizing the pictures and framing good stories within time limits. Okay. So do not hurry to write the story in 30 seconds. Provided to analyze it. Utilize them to get a better understanding of what has been shown. Anyone amongst you can anyone read the rest of the points, please? Any women candidate, please?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, Guru tips and points to remember. Practice, there is no substitute. The picture
No,
and
not the
framing
first
good
point.
stories.
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
Mhm.
Do not hurry to the story in the 30 seconds provide to analyze it. Utilize them to get a better understanding of what has been shown. Maintain composure and focus throughout the test. Avoid haste or panic. Never leave a story unattempted or partially attempted. Each story of yours should have a beginning as well as an end to it. You can begin your story in all ways, but we suggest you to begin it writing by writing the name, age, gender, and profession of the main character you choose. The main character there in each story is you. Whatever he does, however he behaves, is all reflecting how you would have behaved in that situation.
Right, and here, do not misunderstand he. It's just written he because there is no. It's just written over there. It can be he or she. You do not have to worry about it. Okay. You are in a mindset wherein आपको वो देखना भी है, आपको उसको एनालाइज भी करना है, एंड उसके बाद में लिखना भी है. There is only 30 seconds to write about. There is only 30 seconds to analyze that thing, and only 4 minutes given to write about it. And it is not only that. So 12 स्टोरीज लिखनी है आपको, आखिरी स्टोरी ब्लैंक भी है, तो वो तो आप अपनी चलो इमेजिन करके अच्छे से वो प्रिपेयर भी करके जा सकते हो. बट व्हाट अबाउट द फर्स्ट स्टोरीज जहाँ पे अनप्रेडिक्टेबल पिक्चर्स आएंगे, अनप्रेडिक्टेबल स्टोरीज आएंगी, how you are going to go about it? So in the very last, in the second last and the last point is the basic thing, which is a key thing which is given to you, is that you should start from writing the name of the main character which you believe is the main character. Generally should be of, if any figure is seen of your age, generally that person should be you ideally, and at the same time it should be of the same gender as you are, and should be of the same profession, since you people are students, or if some of you are working with, doing some job, some part-time job, or somebody is working in call center or something of that sort. You should be able to relate with that profession. And it should, the story or the theme of that entire thing should revolve around as if that is happening in your own life. Whatever imagination or whatever theme you are processing in your mind should be centered. You should be the center of that thing, and it should be revolving around you, is the basic. Because those people do not want to know कि फलाना एक इंसान के साथ उस वहां पे क्या हुआ था. You cannot put, it's really some. I have myself seen that so many people, how they write stories, that they put an incident from the newspaper, or they put something which they have seen in the movie, and they put that exact thing over there because they imagine it that way. My point is, or rather anybody who is an assessor wants to know about you, what you think about that thing, and not what the movie is, or what has happened in the newspaper. You should be imaginative enough. You should have that kind of thought process जहाँ पे आप अपने आप को सेंटर कैरेक्टर उस स्टोरी का रख रहे हो, और उस लिहाज से उस स्टोरी को बिल्टअप कर रहे हो, उस लिहाज से आप उस चीज को बता रहे हो कि yes, this thing is happening, and now I have, this is the basic problem. How a basic layout of the story should be, that there is you are faced with the problem, or there is some kind of problem which is going in the vicinity, or your village, or your locality, or while you are going to the college, or while you're going to do your job, or something has happened, and you have observed that, and how you have acted upon it. There is this problem, and your struggle of solving that problem, and how you solve it eventually. And you, since you are not some superhuman जो सब कुछ खुद ही कर लेगा, how you took help of people, how you delegated certain things to other people also. So that entire thing makes an entire story. There has to be some little bit of masala in it, which will make that story interesting as well. At the same time, जो पढ़ने वाला है, जो assessor जो है, who would be reading it, will actually feel कि yes, this person is somebody who has taken the, who has observed it, who is sensitive enough, who is responsible enough, who is understanding enough to know what is happening. He went there, he observed it, he did not run away, he did not shy away, or he or she did not move away from there. They faced it, they observed it, and they took the initiative of helping it. and then they moved ahead, they solved it, they took help of the people around them, and then they were able to solve that particular thing. So this entire theme, this entire process will um, will eventually end up in making a good story. So इस चीज में we will eventually see the examples as well. So first and foremost thing मैं आप लोगों को बता दूं, write it down somewhere. The story has to be written in third person singular. That is he, she, it. It generally नहीं he or she में ही होगा. They also is going to be, if you're a team, then it has to be they, but generally it has to be in third person singular, that is he or she. In the very first point, the last blank slide is a game changer. Why it is a game changer? Because that is something completely you are given a leeway of imagining whatever you want to, as per your imagination, as per the thoughts which you are born with, and anything and everything that is coming to your mind, you should be able to write it over there. So I would generally suggest, or in my opinion, you should have a standard story or a story which is already made, which will depict the, you know, the thing which is there, which will depict your all most of your characteristics, the kind of person you are. If you are a sportsman, or if you are somebody who is working somewhere, if you are someone who is way too busy, if you are really working hard to earn livelihood for your family also at an early age, so all those things should be put forth in that story. That story, that last story is going to be your story. That has to be immaculate. That has to be something, वो तो बिना पूरे 4.5 मिनट ले लो वो पूरे लिखने में. और वहां पे you should be able to put forth the kind of character, the kind of steel which you people have inside you. It, you may put forth a problem, or you may put forth an issue which you have come over, or something that, that will make you that has transitioned into someone who is very very strong in today's date, and some incident, or you, and generally a positive one, like, you were working somewhere and you got injured, and how you worked, and how you evolved from there, and how you worked hard to get over your injury, and eventually how you landed up and playing that particular game. Me being a sportsman, I used to मेरी story boxing की थी, which I generally used to write, or about the cross country. I was a cross country player, so I used to write that kind of story. So since I was in सैनिक स्कूल, तो मैं वो चीजें put forth करता था, वो उस लिहाज से मैं लिखता था. But as in the second point, see, bringing up social issue is not enough. You should know detailed steps on how it can be tackled. In my suggestion, avoid social issues as much as possible. Like, there are n number of social issues. Being in India, big part of India, you should always avoid writing about politics. You should always avoid writing about religion. You should always avoid writing about money or corruption, or these kind of things, which will not actually you know which is definitely not your cup of tea at this age and this time. Secondly, it is something which is generally avoided in the entire armed forces. We do not discuss politics, we do not discuss religion, we do not discuss money. So these are the basic things which generally we avoid, and we do not discuss about these things. Unfortunately, most of our social issues are related with these things, which should generally avoid. If at all there is a social issue like illiteracy, and there is illiteracy or something like provision of vaccination, COVID vaccination or polio vaccination, based on these themes, you can generally write, and you can write an excellent story based on these things. However, I would really suggest that you should avoid writing something about the active social issues which are kind of prevalent in our society, in our country per se. So just avoid those things. I would suggest we should, most of us may be inclined towards any kind of ideology, but we should just avoid keeping it in a shell. And let's not discuss those things generally in or at such kind of pedestal, as far as SSBs are concerned. So that's my basic suggestion to all of you, right? Okay, the next point is, do not create unnecessary problems unless and until depicted in the story. So if you see, for example, if you see, there are 4 to 5 students who are, you know, who are enjoying or who are having a gala time or somebody who is dancing or there is some kind of celebration which is going on, I would suggest, okay, so this is the let's see how you people respond to this. So this is the basic picture. Just imagine a picture wherein people are celebrating, or there are group of students who are celebrating, or there are people who are group of people who are celebrating. Uh, just tell me what you people perceive of it. What exactly do you people perceive of it? There might be a story जहाँ पे people are collectively, laughing or smiling or celebrating, and people will write if there is some bomb threat which has come up and these people are asked to evacuate the hall or something of that sort, which is basically an example of creating an unnecessary problem which is not there and which is of no relevance to that story. So we cannot be finding problems in each and every story as well. There can be stories, there can be pictures which are, very happy-go-lucky type, very smooth, or very, there is nothing wrong. There might not seem anything wrong in that picture, or there's no, people are all happy and they are satisfied. There is a satiated expression which is there on the basis of the people. So you can write a very happy story as well. So there is no end to your, there is no limit to where you can limit your imagination about these things as well. Okay. Next point is actions. Each story demands actions from you to resolve the issue that you have put forward. Now, if you put forward that you are going from your house to your college on a bike or a scooter, and if you see there is some accident which has occurred and somebody's got injured, and then you, maybe because of the lack of time, or maybe because you elaborated that thing so much, or maybe because you don't know the solution for it, you just writing the scene, and वहां पे आप लिख दोगे कि this accident has occurred and there is this an ambulance is called, or I called the ambulance, sorry, he has called the ambulance, that's it. So you have to be very precise. You have to depict what is happening in the picture at that point of time. You have to give the exact scenario which is happening in the story. You cannot be just leaving it half-heartedly कि उतना हो गया and that's it. It cannot be a solution. You have to describe the picture first, what is happening in that picture, or give the backdrop of that picture quickly within a line or two. Then you should write एक दो lines उसके बारे में लिखो कि problem क्या हुआ है, and you should give maximum amount of your time for solving that. So your story should be distributed into first or one or two lines about the backdrop of what is happening in that scenario, what has happened in that scenario. Next two would be the problem wherein what thing has happened. Next would be your action. Majority of the time you would be describing about the action which you have taken, and at the end of it, within a line or two, you should give the solution which you have provided for that particular problem. So this will make a, you know good, crisp, concise story. Whichever story you write, this has to be distributed into these many groups. Like first and foremost thing, anything you give me any story, we can fit into this uh, um, इस ढांचे में हम डाल सकते हैं उस चीज को. जैसे पहले हो गया, पहले दो लाइन आप इंट्रोड्यूस करा दो कि आपका बैकड्रॉप क्या है, वो स्टोरी क्या है, उसका बैकड्रॉप क्या है, उसका पास्ट में क्या हुआ है जिसकी वजह से ये सिनेरियो हो रहा है. फिर आप डिस्क्राइब करो उस सीन में क्या हो रहा है, उस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में जो पिक्चर आपको दिखाया गया वहां पे उसमें क्या एग्जैक्टली डिस्क्राइब किया गया है, चाहे वो प्रॉब्लम होगा या कुछ इवेंट होगा या जो भी होगा. उसके बाद में आपने क्या एक्शन लिया, आपने क्या इनिशिएटिव लिया, आपने एक्शन लेके क्या क्या चीजें की उसमें, starting with you seeking help or what you thought, how you delegated that particular various responsibilities to people, and then eventually at the end of it how you have actually solved that particular issue, or you are able to conduct that event successfully, or you are able to make organize that entire thing successfully. You should be writing it. So ये पूरा का पूरा चीज उसमें आना चाहिए. And similarly the rest of the points which say provide actions that are logical, practical and realistic. ऐसे नहीं कि अगर एक्सीडेंट हो गया है तो आप ही उस बंदे को उठा के एम्बुलेंस में बिठा रहे हो, उसी बंदे को वो ड्राइव करके भी आप ही लेके जा रहे हो, आप ही उसको जाके हॉस्पिटल में ऑपरेट करा रहे हो. आप सुपर हीरो नहीं हो सकते. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? आप सुपर ह्यूमन नहीं हो, आप सुपरमैन नहीं हो या सुपर वुमन नहीं हो. आपको हर एक चीज को तवज्जो देना है, कि समझना है कि आप क्या क्या बात कर रहे हो, कैसे कैसे कर रहे हो, और उस लिहाज से आपको उस चीज का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दूसरे लोगों को भी देना है कि सपोज कोई एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो यू विल detail, you will call the ambulance and you will detail someone to help that person to carry. अगर एम्बुलेंस नहीं आ रही है तो किसी की हेल्प लेके आप आपके बाइक पे बिठा रहे हो, पीछे किसी और को बिठा रहे हो, हेल्प मांग रहे हो, आप हेल्प मांग सकते हो. देयर विल बी हेल्प विच इज अवेलेबल. अगर ऑर्गेनाइज करना है आपको इवेंट तो यू सीक हेल्प फ्रॉम द एनजीओज, यू सीक हेल्प फ्रॉम द ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एंटिटीज, और आपके दोस्तों को पूछोगे आप कैसे हेल्प करोगे. भले ही आप उसमें लीडर हो, आप सब चीजें आप इनिशिएट कर रहे हो, प्लान आपका है, but you would definitely make other people also part of it. You are not going to, you cannot do anything in isolation. You have to do things collectively. If you are a team leader, you have to get those things done as a team. So you cannot be doing each and everything. Like, initiative is the biggest of all OLQs that it is written over here. So initiative definitely, आप वो प्रॉब्लम, जो कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, जो कुछ भी चीज है, उसका आप इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हो, that basically itself gives out the biggest of the officer like quality of leadership. आप में लीडरशिप है, इसलिए आप इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हो. आप वो इनिशिएटिव कंसिस्टेंटली उस इनिशिएटिव को मेंटेन कर रहे हो, और इवेंचुअली एट द एंड ऑफ इट आप उसको कल्मिनेशन भी दे रहे हो, आप कल्मिनेट भी कर रहे हो इन अ सॉल्यूशन. So these all things will be very, very effective as far as you as a human being are concerned, you as a good human being is concerned, which is required of you when you will be becoming future officers. These are the basic small nitty-gritties of characteristics which will be looked upon, or which will be respected, and which are expected out of you as an officer. Because eventually there will be operations, there will be things, there will be incidents which will be happening in the unit, आपकी बटालियन में, आपके रेजिमेंट में, आपके यूनिट में. ये ऐसी ऐसी चीजें होगी जहां पे आपका इनिशिएटिव लेना ज्यादा जरूरी होगा. कोई ऑपरेशन होगा, या कोई नॉर्मल से छोटी चीज भी होगी कि आप, अगर आप कोई कॉन्वॉय कमांडर हो, आपको कॉन्वॉय लेके जाना है, तो इनिशिएटिव लेके आपको सब चीजें, किसको अप्रोच करना है, किसके साथ लियाजो करना है, ये सब चीजें आपको इवेंचुअली पता चलेगी. दोज आर द बेसिक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स व्हिच आर सीन ऑफ यू इन एसएसबी. तो आपको कंसिस्टेंट रहना है, जो भी आपका थॉट प्रोसेस है, यू आर सॉल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड. सो एक्शन से लेके आपका सॉल्यूशन होने तक आपको वो आपकी थॉट प्रोसेस उस स्टोरी के द्वारा आपको मेंटेन रखनी है. ये नहीं कि बीच में आप डिसइंटरेस्टेड हो गए, आपने बोल दिया किसी को कि प्लीज टेक हिम टू द हॉस्पिटल, and I went to the college because that was important to me. You go, you reach the college, come back, you go to the college, you tell, make that patient reach the hospital, you come back to the college, apologize to your teachers, tell them what has happened, give them what exactly has, give the entire flow through of whatever has happened. If they are asking for some kind of proof, tell them that this particular patient has gone. So ये सब चीजें आपको उसमें नहीं होगा, मीन्स उसमें इतने प्रिसाइजली आप बता नहीं पाओगे, बट एंड में आप लिख सकते हो कि आफ्टर दैट, आफ्टर द पेशेंट वाज टेकन टू द हॉस्पिटल, आई वेंट बैक टू द कॉलेज, अपोलोजाइज माय प्रोफेसर फॉर बीइंग लेट. एंड डेफिनेटली यार, आपने इतना अच्छा काम किया तो कोई भी अपोलॉजी आपकी एक्सेप्ट करेगा भी. सो डू नॉट राइट समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी अनोमलस इन नेचर, कि वापस आए और आपको कॉलेज से निकाल दिया बिकॉज आपने हेल्प कर दिया और फिर आप एंटी सिस्टम बन गए. Do not write anything which is anti-system. Do not write which is unnecessary in nature. Okay, so you just write a simple plain story as I've told. Solution हो गया, बस बात खत्म. You have to limit yourself. You have to do not carry too much of emotions with you. Be a little realistic. Be a little practical. But at the same time, be a little more imaginative. Think big. Think of something which is happening in a very, very realistic way, and you'll be able to put forth stories in a very, very good, in a better manner. Okay, so we have got another 25 minutes with this. So the pronouns he, she, they, etc. are all representing you, as I've said earlier. So react as if the situation is happening in front of your eyes and you're only one to resolve it. So before going to the next slide, I would like to ask if somebody has got any doubts so far. Your 30 seconds starts now. Okay, you people can start writing the story. 4 minutes you have. I will show the story, next story immediately. Okay, last 5 seconds. Stop everyone. This is your next story. Your 30 seconds starts now. Okay, you can start writing. And you can start writing your story. That is all from my side. I would thank all of you for paying attention in this 1.5 hours of time, and wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Thanks.